Hello interwebs, 'tis I, Sebastian Piccione, and this is F3G2 coming at you live from the back of Famous Faces and Funnies, and you can watch this on YouTube or on GonnaGeek.com, or both, but that would just be silly. But I look older to you interwebs, wiser, probably just older. Turned 42 yesterday. I now know the answer to life, the universe, and everything. It's comics. Really wasn't that big a surprise. A little bit of a letdown. I expected something grander. Turns out I've been doing it right all along. And on that note, let's get to this stack of books. First up is Dr. Spector, the latest of the Gold Key adaptations by Dynamite. Oh my god. I've liked Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I've liked Magnus Robot Fighter. I've liked Solar Man of the Atom. This is my favorite of the three, and it's only one issue in. Who knew? These are good. Who wrote this? Mark Waid. Why am I stupid? Of course it was Mark Waid. I didn't even bother looking. But that just proves, see, it's not just Mark Waid's name. I just love Mark Waid writing. This is so good. It's like, he's like a reality show monster hunter, only there's actually monsters. And it gets just so involved, and it's so good. So good. Hashtag so good. Read this. Batman
32?
Look, he's Batman 30, 31. Ha! Don't you tell me nothing.
I thought we did 31 already.
It seems like that, but it's just there's so many bats. First off, hey, it's only $3.99 finally, which is always a plus. And he's doing his little Green Arrow imitation. Look, he's sitting surrounded by green, and he's got like a bow and arrow, and he's all like Batman-y. He goes head to head with Operation Stalling Tactic with the Riddler. It's good. It's very brightly colored for a Bat book, but that works for this 0 year and for the Riddler. It's almost, I mean, I'm colorblind, so I can't say for sure, but it's almost like, I want to say, kind of like a neon palette kind of going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sure if I'm seeing the right colors. A lot of what I think is supposed to be green looks yellow to me. It's a very, very yellow Riddler in my colorblind world.
It's great.
But it's good. And you already knew that because it's Batman and it's Snyder and Capullo. So if you're not reading it, jerk. Batman Eternal, number 8, the continuing weekly Bat book. Gotham's a mess, and Batman, the world's greatest detective, is only just detected. The cops aren't on his side anymore. I captured 1 billion people. Everyone's like, nobody's been arrested. He's like, that can't be. Wait a minute. But he does realize, because this is, I guess, their first official meeting within the new 52. So Batman meets Jason Bard, and they're like BFFs at first sight. So that's cool. We get a little more spoiler, so I'm happy. We get some things going on with Catwoman in like China. And Vicky Vale is just determined to out Lois Lane on asking all sorts of questions that will eventually get her in serious trouble with bad people. Difference between Lois Lane and Vicky Vale is the superhero that Lois Lane tends to hang out with can hear you scream for help from miles away and get there in a second. Batman can't do that. Not that she's in any danger yet, but you know it's gonna happen. Nightwing, number 30. Almost crushed my hopes for the new series. Which is weird. I know most of you are like, hopes for the new series, because most of you are still shell-shocked over the loss of a Nightwing or whatever. But let me say that Tim Seeley wrote it, and he's going to be writing the new series. And the last 2, 4, 6, 8, the last like 10 pages pretty much go to what is the setup for the new book. I liked those. The rest of it is the setup for why he's doing what he's doing. And I found it a little hard to swallow. the whole problem that's been going on in the Bat family of late has been secrets. Everybody's mad at Batman because he's kept too many secrets from the rest of his little crew. Dick was spearheading the "We're mad at you, Bruce" movement. Now Dick is another secret that Bruce is keeping because he's like, look, we can't fight the fight that we're fighting. It's a lot of fights in that sense. We can't fight the fight that we're fighting if people know who we are. They know who you are. It's too easy to figure out who the rest of us are. You have to let the world think you died. They saw you die when Luthor killed you, but then the power went out. They didn't see him bring you back. So they're letting Jason, Alfred, Babs, and the rest of the world
Tim
think that Dick is dead.
Yeah, it's not going to come back.
That he's a limp dick. That the whole everything except the 10 pages of this book just did nothing for me. But those last 10, and it introduces Helena Bertolini or Bertinelli, complete in a Huntress-esque shirt. All right, so you get his partner. And all of that part really worked. It's just, I think, the way they're taking him seems to work. The how they got him there is stupid. Future's End, number 4, another weekly. A lot of Frankenstein. We gotta feed my Frankenstein. Things look not so great for what's his face, Grifter. And I'm still waiting for Booster Gold to show up. Also, Plastique. They have turned into just another annoying, cliched, silly, super villainous. Those, you know, the ones they make. There's a whole lot of men writing, so that explains it. But those silly, dark, twisted, sing-songy, look, I blow things up and kill things, tee-hee-hee kind of super villains. And Plastique was better than that. Plastique was better than that in like Firestorm and Captain Atom, and she was great when done right. And this is one of those bad New 52 changes. There's nothing of the character in there but the name and sort of the power. Jonah Hex, building towards an end. We're not sure what's going on, but there is another Jonah out there. The Scar, the whatever. But this guy calling himself Jonah Hex, but this guy is murdering, and no one believes Jonah is Jonah because he's got his full face. But he and Tallulah Black have their... some people like their sex to be a little violent, a little rough. These two like it to be really rough. Fatal to everyone around them. And then they still just kind of spend as much time beating on each other as they do beating on each other, if you know what I'm saying.
They do it like Australians.
Yeah, they're like, they're a match made in somewhere. But it's good. I'm going to be sad when this book ends, and I blame all of you for not reading it. Unless you read it, then I don't blame you. And you can join me in looking at everybody else and going, the shame. Giant-sized Spider-Man number 1 was
Big.
not worth $4.99. I don't know if these were published somewhere else or online or whatever, but they're all a little, it bills it as like, you know, untold stories of Spidey's past. It really gives a slight new tweak on his origin, and just, they got rid of Crusher, the wrestler, and replaced him with something like Pretty Boy something, and it's just, I don't know. It's just a lot of uninspired reimaginings is what I'm going to go with for that. Aquaman, number 31, was really, 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 really good. Really good. Really, really good. First off, I love Paul Pelletier. I just do. And he draws a great Aquaman. And he draws a great Swamp Thing. And And that's impressive because Aquaman and Swamp Thing are normally the kind of characters that it takes two very different art styles to make look good. So if you have your own distinct art style that can make two characters that different look that good, kudos to you, sir. I tip my glasses to you. When Swamp Thing got... In Swamp Thing, he had to fight to get back to being the Avatar because they had originally given it to once upon a time known as the Floronic Man. So
Cedar, right?
yeah, but he gets the power back, and then to prove to the Parliament, look what I'm going to do, he made these algae just bloom across the sea, and then retracted them when they realized, oh shit, he's going to throw everything off balance. Aquaman views that as an attack because he killed a lot of sea life. Aquaman doesn't like it when you kill a lot of sea life. And Aquaman may be the king of the seas, but as he's, it's cool because Swamp Thing's like, yo, slow down, little man. Yeah, you keep killing my little husks, and I just keep growing because you're king of the seas. I actually am I'm the avatar of the green. That means to fight me is to fight all the plant life on the planet. You're not going to win that. It's like, I'm not a man made of plants. I am a man made of all plants. You are fighting the entire vegetation of the planet. And Aquaman's like, I don't care, I'm Aquaman. I'm still going to fight you. Because that's about right.
Stubborn.
And this will get the flip side of this in Aquaman 31 later this month. In Swamp Thing 31 later this month. That'll show us Swamp Thing's take on this whole ordeal. But it was a really, really good issue. I hadn't been reading Aquaman since the John's issues, mostly because Paul Pelletier is not always the full issue artist. And I would just kind of fade out when it wasn't him. But this was all him, so it was all good. And Jeff Parker can write. It's not fair of me to cut out just because of stuff. But I read a lot of books for review, so if I cut out on a book, that's really just because I don't got the time, baby. I don't got the time. The Flash. I continue to read this. I don't know why I do this to myself.
A little bit of self-hatred.
I think so. Well, Venditti's on it, so it's getting stronger, and I've liked this more than previous issues. We get a little more Wally. Let's just say they're not exactly BFFs and sidekicks yet, but Future Flash is still there. Saves Mirror Master from what would have been a big screw-up that happened in Future Flash's timeline. But he saves him by basically fucking him over and kind of leaves him in a bad way at the end. I like my rogues, so hopefully they'll get him out. But it's more interesting than it has been. I'm just waiting to see. I think well, it's a Flash. Let's go with a proper metaphor. I think Venditti's got a lot more running to do to try. I'm going to give him more time to try and outrun the train wreck this book has been for like 30 issues. So 20 something issues. So it's got the potential is there.
Well,
it's just still.
Look how long it took him to get Green Arrow on track.
Secret Origins #2. The Batman Secret Origin, though unnecessary, was really good. And it had Dustin Nguyen on art, and it's so amazing because after his time on Little Gotham, you get to see the way he does it. There is actually a super strong family resemblance, yet not just drawn the same way, between young Bruce and Damian. Not that Damian's in this, but if you've seen Nguyen draw Little Gotham, you know the way he draws his Damian. You can see the resemblance. It's there, and it made me really happy. Who else is in here? Aquaman. The Aquaman origin was actually really, really good. That's Jeff Parker again. See, I told you Jeff Parker can write. I'm not sure who Alvaro Martinez is, but he did the art. It's good. And I liked... I'm going to say it. Give me a minute, because it's hard. I don't know who did the art. I really like the art, but this is going to be one of those where they put it at the last page. God damn you, Lobdell. Here I am trying to say something nice about you. So, Paulo Sequeira did the art. Freaking gorgeous. But Scott Lobdell's origin for Starfire, I liked it. I went in expecting... Yeah, who knew? I went in expecting a hot mess. Literally, because she's hot and the story would be a mess. So that's literally what I was expecting. Not even a figure of speech. And it turned out to be hot with no mess. It was actually really good. In the middle there, I was like, this is seeming a little tonally too dark for what I, too anger fueled for. I know Starfire has a temper, but she's not like supposed to be like Red Lantern worthy. But it adjusted itself, and he threw me. I'll say it. Props where it happens. Scott Lobdell threw. I didn't see him. Just as I'm thinking I've got my complaint, he went, "Ha! You totally fell for that, ha ha!" And I was like, Lobdell just played me.
Damn you, Lobdell.
So, kudos to you on writing a really, really good origin story for Starfire. And kudos to you on making a left turn when I really thought you were going to run straight. Well played. Speaking of Scott Lobdell, alright, I've been liking the Doomed storyline. Here was the test. Superman 31 is Scott Lobdell. How did it fare? I still liked it. It's not my favorite issue, and there's some dialogue moments. And Scott Lobdell has a very distinct Lobdellian way that he does the what is the thing I'm trying to make here that I'm realizing aren't actually showing up, so you can't see this. No, caption boxes.
Word bubbles.
Not the word bubbles. It's the captions, because the stories are kind of narrated in like the character thinking, and he does this for a lot of his stuff. He did it for the other story, and I don't always think that I don't think that's the kind of trick you should do every time. But
a little story direction.
This was still good. I really liked the story. I liked the way he wrote Lex and Superman interaction, and that's important, especially in this new flip-flopped Lex and Luthor relationship. I mean, Lex and Superman relationship, where he's actually saying Lex Luthor, an ally, really, and he's thinking that. So that was good. Oddly, well, I guess maybe appropriately, the weakest part was at the end, and not that it was a weak ending for a story, but Superman was supposed to be in quarantine, sees with his super seeing that the Titans are in trouble, so he goes to bail them out, and it just seemed like someone else is taking over the Titans. It really just seems like Lobdell was like, I want one more play with them. They didn't seem necessary here, and even the villain that was from Lobdell's run on Superboy, it just all seemed like, he's like, I want to use my toys one more time. And as much as I like this, I still don't want him near those toys. Superman toys he can play with. This was really good. Well done. Even the Justice League moments. I'm not saying put him on Justice League, but letting them come over to play in a Superman book he's writing, good. But, yeah, some of the dialogue was a bit clunky, and the word bubbles, the caption boxes, narrative, didn't always really, sometimes kind of took away from the story, but all in all, much better than I anticipated. Avengers in the future. This is Avengers number 30 with the original sin. They've just time jumped, and in case you were wondering, Hawkeye is still a bitter ass in the future. I know you were worried. Also,
good to know.
If you ever wondered who would win in a fight, Old Man Hawkeye or modern continuity Iron Man, this is the issue that will tell you that. It's good. I haven't been following up until the original Sins crossover, so I read the one before this, so I know what's happening here. But in the bigger picture, I'm still kind of lost. So I'm it's good. It's still not enough to. I don't think I'm going to be a regular Avengers reader. Fantastic Four Extra Size number 5. The only good thing about this issue, in fact, the only good thing about this run of Fantastic Four, is that this story, you know those episodes they always do when they run out of an idea on like a sitcom where they sit back, you know, it's like, oh, the sitcom's been running, you know, it's episode number, you know, 50, so they flash back, remember the time when, and they flash back and you get boom, so you really get like 6 minutes of new footage, and it's just them sitting around on the couch talking, and everything else is just old moments that have, you know, already happened. That's what this is. The Fantastic Four is on trial, a ridiculous trial that even in the Fantastic Four world, after the Civil War, all of this has been addressed. There's nothing new being brought to the table here. Literally, because most of it is flashback. The parts that are great, though, are they do get a whole host of guest artists to draw some of these scenes. You know, so you got like Mike Allred drawing the page where they first meet the Silver Surfer and Galactus. You know, you've got all these pages that are really, really good looking, but for some reason, I guess maybe as a last-ditch effort to try and remind us, hey, this isn't the worst the Fantastic Four has ever been. They flash back and show us when Sue was Malice, like going, hey, remember, this used to be even worse than this. But you know what? You know, screw it, I'd read that. This brings nothing new to the title or the genre, and everything that it's rehashing, and I don't mean the flashbacks, I mean the concepts in this, it's not even doing like a great job of that. Marvel?
Just no.
Stop. For it. You hurt me. This was really good, but it's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. Guardians of the Galaxy, number 15. Huge Captain Marvel on the cover. The words, and now Captain Marvel. I'll give you a minute. Name a character that's not in this comic.
Captain Marvel?
It's Captain Marvel. She ain't in here. Not even like in the last page. Ba-ba. It's really, really good. I just don't know why they went with that cover for this. It's a great issue. They've vivisected Rocket. They're beating down Gamora. They are basically ignoring poor Drax. They've got him just locked in a bubble. Like, no, we're not fighting you. We don't care. They've messed with Flash Venom Thompson's head. The Brood are fucking with Groot for some reason. They're just gonna break him and drop him on things. And Star-Lord is determined to be the hero that Star-Lord needs to be. He tries to make a deal with his dad that doesn't seem like it's gonna work, so he says, fuck it, and jumps out a window. But this is all, they're going through separate torches to come back together, bigger, better, faster, more. And I'm really loving it. Cover's a lie, issue's great.
Not even Philo or anything?
Guardians of the Galaxy Prelude. This is great. It's DNA. It's Abnett. It's Abnett and Lanning. On Guardian, so that's already good. It's all Groot and Rocket, and if you can believe it, it's them versus a interstellar crime lord, because they've been helping him get. They're delivering. They've taken on a job. They're delivering some cargo. Turns out that cargo is a bunch of sentient, speaking, alien, snail-looking creatures that he's only ordered because he's going to crush their shells down to use as tiles in his new bathroom in his super rich gangster crib, space gangster crib. And these little snails are like, please, we have money. Don't let them do this to my family. So our heroes go in defense. Basically, they're saving space as cargo. Because they were cargo, and it's as cargo. Inhuman number 2 is good. It's Charles Soule, so it's well written. I'm a little more invested than I was. I'm gonna be sad when what the hell's Madeira's Joe Madeira leaves, because I really like the way he draws Medusa, almost unhealthily so. So this is like a bizarre little team up of Medusa and Captain America versus not Hydra. It's AIM. AIM, the guys that dress like beekeepers. So that's pretty damn good. And Cap is coming at it as a superhero from his superhero and noble soldier standpoint, whereas Medusa is coming at the same problems from a queen in charge of other people's standpoint, and they're trying to get like trying to get that common ground going on. So it was good that way. Harbinger is another lie. Oh, they kill somebody, but based on this cover, you look at the characters that are there, and you think you know who's dead, and it turns out you're wrong. It's one of the characters on this cover is the one who dies in you, and it only half made me sad. It made me sad to lose any character, but they scared me by making me think for a moment that it was going to be a different one of the characters. It's one of these, but they made me think it was. I was like, what? And then it wasn't. I was still sad, but I was glad that it wasn't the character I thought it was. And I like Animalia, this girl who can turn into animals, but has never. She was raised by Project Rising Sun, so she's never seen any real life animals. She's only seen them on TV. So basically, imagine a Beast Boy, only she can change colors too, who can only turn into cartoon animals. She can't turn into real animals because she's never seen them until she was observed. So she turns into like cartoon dinosaurs and cartoon cats and stuff, and that's kind of funny to me. Cal #1 is really good. It takes place in the '60s in I want to say Chicago, and it's like a unionized Justice League. In that very very time period, almost noir, but at the same time, it's just really good. I don't know how to describe it to you better than that. Troy Peteri writes it. Kyle Higgins and Alex Siegel wrote it. Rod Rice did the art, and Troy Peteri did the letters, and Andy Schmidt is the editor. It was really, really good. Very, very moody, and very, very well done. Very, very period. I want to say it's like blue-collar Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think that works as a description. Deadly Class continues to... Every time I buy this, I think to myself, why do I keep buying this when I don't need to be paying $3.50 for another comic? I read so many. And then I read it, and I always remember why, especially by the end. I always think, I'll start going, oh, man, another book. And then I get, it's got an editor named Sebastian, so I like it. But, yeah, this is really good, and somebody may be dead, and I'm hoping not, but it's Rick Remender, so it goes in directions that you're not always ready for. But it's really, really good, and I somehow almost let myself forget that between each month, but you need to read this. It's kids being trained to be, like, the world's greatest, like, assassins, in like Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Psychos kind of feel to it. Seekers of the Weird is over, and it makes me sad that it's over. But I'm going to buy that trade. Issue last one. It's number 5. So it's the solution to the Doomsday Clock and whether or not our family can get out of it alive. And it's all gorgeous because Carl Moline drew it, and Carl Moline draws gorgeously. And Rick Magyar is the inker. So the art's just gorgeous. What the hell is Seyfried's first name? Brandon Seyfried wrote it. A lot of fun. The next Disney story is going to be Figment. I'm down for that too, for very different reasons. That one I'm down for because it's Figment. This one I was down for because Carl was drawing it. Carl is one of those artists I will follow. I will be I will be that guy. I will read a book. Oh, I don't usually read that book, but Carl Moline is drawing that. I will pick that up. Ghostbusters number 16. So good. There's like a million Ghostbusters in this. You've got the standards. You've got Venkman Egon, Ray, Winston. But then you've got Ron Alexander and the Rookie. That's really all they call him. You've got Janine in uniform, in Ghostbusters uniform. Kylie Griffin, Melanie Ortiz, and then they're going up against Tiamat, who actually goes to dragon form this time, because Tiamat is the sister of Goza the Gozerian. So Tiamat is a little more powerful than Gozer, but a lot more chaotic. And it's everything you expect. The stake, it's so perfect in that Ghostbusters movie feel, especially the first Ghostbusters, where the stakes are ridiculously high, though they don't always play them like they're high stakes. And then, of course, things go the way you were. There's a great moment where they meet what could be hallucinations or could be due to a temporal anomaly. They meet older versions of themselves, and it goes about as well as you'd expect it. Red Lanterns, picking up where Supergirl left off last week. Red Lanterns number 31. Charles Soule's just killing it on this book, and Alessandro Vitti is just awesome on the art. Part of me really wants Guy to get his bowl cut back and lose this beard and mustache, but part of me really likes the way it looks. The trade is in here, and I'll talk about that later. But this is continuing the Judge storyline, and comes down to Atrocitus, and now their next step is, how are they going to deal with Atrocitus? How's Atrocitus going to deal with them? And they have to save Rancor, the other human in the Red Lantern Corps. So it's really, really good. Charles Soule just came in and took what should have been the shallowest of Lantern Corps. Not the shallowest Lantern, because there's always Lorifleeze. He's next. But the shallowest Corps, because really Lorifleeze isn't a Corps. He's just him. But he's made them really deep, and I like all of these characters. I did not expect to like all of them, and I do. Lorifleeze number 11, the penultimate issue. Alright, it even says, next, the end of everything. No kidding, it's our last issue. But next will be the team-up of Lorifleeze and Nort. Nort's been in this, but he and Lorifleeze haven't exactly been teaming up, if you know what I'm saying. It's good. It's not great. I don't necessarily like... I like Scott Collins' artwork. I don't necessarily like the way Scott Collins is drawing Nort. It just doesn't look entirely Nordish. I mean, you can tell it's Nort. It's obviously Nort, but there's something...
looks too human.
Yeah, there's something... Yeah, he just looks like a really hairy guy. I like the little thing hanging out of his mouth. He's still the Nort we know and I love. I don't know about the rest of you. But he's a more competently incompetent, if that makes any sense. And so far, Given and DeMatteis have managed to not have him refer to the ring as old ringy dingy. Which I think adds a little weight to what he's doing. But yeah, it's good. I get why the book is being canceled. I see why this isn't a lot. But I feel that, they handled it wrong. Lorifleeze was one of those characters that broke out and everybody was like, Lorifleeze! But that's because he's not... Sometimes characters are great for what they are and shouldn't helm anything.
He just needs to be
Dry
himself.
Spell was really good. This is from Action Labs Danger Zone. According to Jared, this was released as a trade, and now they're doing it as issues, and then I guess they'll go and do a trade again.
Number one?
Yeah, it's number one. I don't even remember ordering this. But I'm glad I did, and hopefully they've got me down for the rest of them. It's like a retired supervillain is gone straight, only to find that he works with another retired supervillain who recognizes him and kind of drags him back in. Just when I think I'm out, they drag me back in. And a mess shall ensue. But it's really well done. The art is very stylized, kind of rough in places, but I don't know if it's for effect or if it's just, the limits of the artist. But either way, it really works for the tone and feel of the book. So it's good. And it even starts with, as a comic writer myself, this little Alan Moore quote. It says, "It's not the job of the artist to give the audience what the audience wants. If the audience knew what they needed, they wouldn't be the audience. They would be the artists." Alan Moore. And you have no idea how suddenly more confident I am as a writer knowing that. That little quote, just, I actually felt stuff go. I'm like, oh, that's how we open that door. My favorite Avengers book, Mighty Avengers, number 10. I love the Blue Marvel. The Blue Marvel, he had his miniseries that introduced him. He's basically a Superman-level character who somehow they're doing the same thing that they did with the Sentry, only doing it right. He's been, they're certainly acting like he's always been that, in continuity. We know that this character has not been around since whatever, but they're saying that he always has, and they've done a much better job of it than just suddenly acting like everyone knew. There's actually a reason why he was out of the picture and acting, as a covert superhero, and not everybody was aware of him. So that makes sense. And they just write him better, and he's much more likable than Sentry. So I don't know what to tell you. But it turns out he was friends with, he hung out on the moon a lot, and he was friends with the Watcher. Ooh. And we get a secret of the. I'm gonna spoil it. You want me to spoil it? I'm gonna spoil it. All right, in 3, 2, 1. The Watcher and his Watcher girlfriend are more than just Watchers. They're not just voyeurs. They do it because they had a baby, and based on his power set, the Blue Marvel is. His power works for what the baby needs to help develop. So basically, he's just been made godfather to a baby Watcher. Which is really just kind of cool. And he's so happy about it because this character has gone through so much loss within the character's history and within just the last 10 issues of this. Hell, the last 4. So that was really good and made me happy. Serenity, number 5, felt so much like Serenity and Firefly. The fight comes down to it. Mal's got a plan. The plan isn't going to work. Mal's got a backup plan. That's not going to work. Mal's got the plan he's left with that he doesn't even like, but it's all they've got. They do it, it goes badly, and when it really looks darkest, Mal steps it up a notch, and they steal victory from the jaws of defeat, and it was so fucking beautiful. I can't wait for the next issue, even though I think we're getting close. This is number 5. I think this is just a 6-issue thing, so I think next issue ends it. But I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with this. It is so perfect. Read this. Suicide Squad, number 31. I think this is the last issue. Number 30. I think this is the last issue, or number 31 will be. Before, nope, see, next new Suicide Squad, number 1. And basically this is closing everything down and setting up the new status quo. Waller does not have carte blanche anymore. Waller is now a you follow orders lady, because the powers that be have stripped her from the head of Argus and told her that, this whole, you were supposed to be in charge of everything that keeps the Earth safe. You missed these villains coming from another world. Yeah. It's all on you. So she's now, no more impunity. She's got a desk job, so maybe she'll put on weight and become the Waller we know and love. I would love that. Also, there are other people being added. There's a slightly different lineup, and we get why Black Manta is doing this, and Black Manta, very psychological character. This works nicely if you've read everything with him in it so far. If you've read Forever Evil, but if you read this week's Secret Origin of Aquaman, he plays into that naturally, and now you get to see his psychic mindset for why he's going to be on Suicide Squad. He's like a volunteer, and it's just really good. Ms. Marvel number 4. best issue yet. She becomes this Ms. Marvel. Gone is the transforming into a blonde or whatever. Her friend convinces her that this is what the world needs right now. This is what her people need, is a they need a representative in all these blonde-haired, blue-eyed faces. They need someone who doesn't mask that and embraces their culture. So so there she is, and she's got her costume, and it's good. It's good. It was a slow build, but the payoff is good, and I'm curious to see where it goes. And I love that little stylized one. All right, trades. Volume 4 of the Red Lanterns, Blood Brothers. This is the start of Charles Soule's Guy Gardner run on Red Lanterns. It's gorgeous, and it's got little secrets in there. There's some character designs. Apparently, in the original concept, I guess Guy wasn't going to be as convincingly undercover, because in the original concept, he was supposed to wear both rings. He was going to have a green and a red ring. So I'm a little sad and yet a lot happy that they didn't go that route, because it would have taken away from his. Yeah, it would look very Christmas. Resident Alien, the Suicide Blonde. This is the second volume of the Resident Alien stories. This collects the Suicide Blonde miniseries. Resident Alien is an alien who's trapped on Earth, takes up a job as a doctor in a small town, and he's got this kind of mind power that basically can make you think. You look at him and you don't notice that he looks like an alien. However, it doesn't translate to film so well, so when people took a couple pictures of him, things are getting problematic. But they're investigating a possible murder or potential suicide of a woman that a friend of his was seeing. So he goes into the study of it, because he's kind of like a detective-y doctor. And it's really, really good, and I'm glad I got this trade, because apparently I read the first couple issues of this. I want to say it was a 3-issue mini that it collects, but I never got the last issue, so now I know how the story ends, and that made me extremely happy. This volume collects numbers 0 through 3, so it was 4 issues, but one was a number 0, so that they can make you feel like it was 3 issues. And finally, from Big Dog Inc., we've got The In Crowd, a comic book I really, really liked, because it's just really well written. It's the Big Dog Inc. Teen Titans kind of team. Eric Esquivel wrote it, and he's really, really good. I like him. I do say, that it is quite possibly my least favorite comic book logo ever. that weird kind of semi-twisty graffiti looking thing. But story-wise, it's really good. I liked it very, very much. Read it, enjoy it. You know you will. And that's it. I have no idea how long that took. It seems like 6 years, but maybe not. Peace.